Thank you very much, Mr. DJ. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to kickstart with our first speaker. And first,
.ng. New at CAC, new, NEW at cac.gov.ng. That is the site you log on to. It will prompt you as the different processes that you have to pay. You have to go through to register the businesses yourself. You don't have to come to our offices. We have 2 offices in Lagos. The first office is on number 7 Joby Way, Alausa Ikeja. And we have another office on the island. But you only come to the office to collect your certificate of incorporation, certificate of registration in case of business things. That is I want to basically give you this information before I leave. Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming, sir. God bless you. So at this very point, we are going straight into our panel section because most of our panelists have other engagements they need to catch up with. But I want to start from Mr. Mba Uzoku so that he can introduce himself and what he do. Then we'll start taking questions from the audience. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. And fellow panelists. I run a company that sells solar products. It's a new market. It's a new industry in Nigeria, and it's growing. I spoke to you guys last year, or no, 2 years ago, right? 2 years ago. Nnamdi and I were on a panel also here at the Yen Summit, and we talked about, similar to what has happened today, nuggets that we have gathered along the way about things that would be interesting and useful to guys, folks like yourselves that are entrepreneurs. I'm not going to make a speech. I'll just let the questions come in, and we'll answer questions as they come.
Do you have any questions from this point? And we also have a person from NAFDAC, so in case you want to know how you can register your business, NAFDAC, please come. Please say your name, go straight to the point.
And today, we have success story. So for you to maybe register, gone are the days when, if you want to register maybe something like that's plantain chips, you will be required by NAFDAC to put a lot of structures on ground. In fact, we have a minimum of 5 rooms for you to get started in terms of structure. You will have cloakroom, you have packaging material, you have raw material, you have finished product, you have production section. Minimum of 5 rooms. But today, NAFDAC has streamlined her processes to encourage you, to let you know that you can start with a room. Can start with a room. Gone are the days when they will tell you this is not a business outfit. It's in a residential area. It is a commercial whatever that you are not supposed to site your factory in a residential area. But today, to encourage you to get started, that you can do it in a residential area. You can do it you can have maybe 3 rooms. You can dedicate 1 for your own production, for you to get started. Gone were the days when, for you to be a production, for you to produce, you must employ a production manager. And that production manager will be a science-based person if you want to produce NAFDAC-regulated products like food, drug, chemicals, and all those things. But it's no longer like that now. As long as you have the necessary experience, you have the knowledge and necessary experience, we can go ahead and do that. Then in terms of finance, in terms of maybe the tariff, it has also been slashed down. You can go for inspection because the process is inspection, lab analysis, registration, but I am telling you with less than 50,000 naira, you can register your products. So these are the processes put in place. in order to encourage you, to empower you, to tell you that it's no longer white collar job. If you want more information, I can believe that we are all internet, yes. We all know our internet. You can access your internet. You can through internet access our website, www.nafdac.gov.ng. With that, you have all the information, starting from the way to submit your application up to the way your product is registered. Thank you very much. If you need more information, just access our website, or we can give you some phone numbers. More importantly, we want to support MSMEs, micro, small, medium enterprises. That's where you belong. Maybe those people want to get started. So you can key in with a start strength of 1. Before, it used to be they will compare you like a multinational, like something like Guinness, and but today they have recognized that you have to grow. So you have to start your own.
So keep the question coming very fast.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Femi Oyeni.
Speak up, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Femi Oyeni. I run a publishing outfit. My question goes to Dr. Olabra. Of course, you came in and you had challenges and you scaled through. I want to ask, are there existing, I would say, platforms for mentorship, for guidance? You know, you could go online and get resources, but by the time you want to domesticate your issues or your challenges in Nigeria or your solutions, it becomes. So, are there specific network platforms, mentorship lines that you can, as an entrepreneur, work on or get advice or direction? Thank you very much.
Okay, interesting question. And my answer is going to be a bit controversial. You know, I've been in business for a long time, and obviously the way that I would have answered it, you know, 5 years ago is different from the way I would have answered your question now. So 10 years in, I actually have not found big mentors that useful. So a lot of people think that if you know some big man, then he's going to sit down and he's going to be able to mentor you, and then your business will grow. But actually, I found like a lot of these big men like kind of not useful to me. Number one, they think in too many billions and they can't settle down to understand a small business. And then number two, like every relationship, a mentorship relationship is give and take. Nobody that is not your daddy, or at least your daddy's best friend, is going to sit down with you once a week and pour out his knowledge to you and give you all his relationships and tell you to go and meet this person and that. It hardly ever happens. So if you run into one of these people, then by all means utilize it. But from my experience, I've just not found them this useful. And this goes for women as well. For men, you don't really have anything to give to support the relationship. And for women, those guys kind of try and come on to you and tell you that they want to take you somewhere or something like that. So like Nigerian men I've not found them, big men, I've not found them that useful. But what I did find useful was entrepreneurs with a similar sized business as me. There's about 8 of us, and we've been meeting every week for a few years. And what we do is at the beginning of the year, we set our goals, and then we meet and talk about our business issues. Now somebody in my group, if I give that person a business of 20 million, he appreciates it. But if I give them a $10 a business of 20 million, then it's like something that is going to use to clean his shoe. So it's very, very difficult for somebody to keep on meeting you for a period of years if the meeting is not useful to that person. So I always advise forming what you call mastermind groups, which are groups of people with a similar sized business as you. You meet every week, you have a form that you fill in, and every week you say, okay, this is my business update. These are the challenges that I'm facing. We're all at the same level. Who in your pool of contacts can solve these problems? And that's been actually my most useful mentorship group. I'm not saying that I haven't had any big man favors. Definitely they've come in useful once or twice, but most of the time, honestly, they've overcharged me. Thank you.
Let me
respectfully agree and disagree with what you just said. I remember when, last year, or 2 years ago when we did this thing, Nnamdi and I left around the same time and were mobbed outside by people that wanted business cards and whatever. Of the 20 business cards that I gave out, I got like 3 calls, right? One person called, we had a good conversation, I never heard from them again. The second person sent an email to Nnamdi and I on the same thing with her picture in a nightgown. So I responded on both our behalves that in the Bible says that you throw stones on the ground, but not everyone becomes a tree or something like that, right? So we'll regard her as a stone that fell on hard soil, yeah? The third person stayed with me, and she and I engaged for over a year. Now, the Dr. Ola is right that it's a two-way thing, and both people have to be invested in it, and it just can't keep on going round and round and round without any sign of progress. So, for me as a mentor, and for the person as a mentee, there need to be goals that are set, and there needs to be a commitment being made, especially by you who is seeking the knowledge, to continue to come back and ask. I am volunteering my time, but you have to be the one that keeps on coming back to ask, and you have to ask that mentor for targets that you're going to set, so that there's a context for it, yeah? So that both of you, Nnamdi mentioned metrics and measurement, and somebody else did that in one of it. You have to have a sense that you're getting better, that both of you have to have a sense that you're getting some progress out of this. Otherwise the energy falls and then the whole thing falls apart. So I do believe that your mentor doesn't have to be Dangote. Your mentor doesn't have to be a quote-unquote big man. There are different mentors that people have. I've been mentoring this young lady who was the one who actually got me here last session. I've been mentoring her for 4 years. And I think for those of you that were here in the session last year, you have heard me say, I'm so proud of her. And by the way, shout out to all the women. You women entrepreneurs, you guys rock. You guys rock, right? Because you're working in an environment that is harsh, that's harsh for everybody, but especially harsh for women because of the kinds of things that Dr. Ola said. You'll go for a meeting and it's not a meeting about business, it's a meeting about socials. Yeah? What the doctor said that I agree with, and I agree with enthusiastically, is on the power of communities. Pulling together your small group, peer groups, and leveraging off of each other. Especially because you are young and you know how to use technology in ways that, I'm in Nigeria, and the average age youth is less than 60, right? So I'm youth. Now wait. So we're young, we're youth, and we know how to leverage technology. Your mentors can be the people that are similar to you in Lagos, but there can also be somebody that is trying to start a publishing company in Ukraine, in Kenya, because through technology you can reach out to these people, you can learn things on the internet from these people, and it's something that we have that we didn't have 30 years ago when I was starting in the business world. So I would encourage you, don't give up on quote-unquote old mentors like me. There are some of us that are willing, but you need to be willing to invest. But also, don't be too parochial and define the mentors too narrowly. Your mentors can be in the next block, in the next city, in the next country. Yeah?
My name
Speak up, please.
My name is David, Translink KG Ventures. I'm into marketing. So I'm directing my question to Mr. Nandi to enlighten me on how I can portray on marketing and intermediary, like you have a product from a company and you help them to show it to the world. You are not bringing money, but you give you the product services that you market. How do I go more further?
Marketing. Well, I think marketing is another form of communication. And this is even a very wonderful area where you can market without spending so much money. So I would advise you leverage on social media. Social media has become a very cheap way to market our products. So if you must market your products, you must be able to understand that the content is what drives the product. So come up with a very good content. If you can't do that well, there are people who are very good in creating content. So you need to have content. Your content must communicate the message. You must find the right medium. And you must also make sure that your product is actually meant for a particular market segment. It's always advisable to identify your market segment and send your marketing communications to that particular market, so that you don't waste so much money trying to advertise on Punch newspaper. Meanwhile, those who read Punch newspaper don't even know what you will sell, and they don't even need those products. So identify your target audience and use social media. In all you do, make sure you bring your costs down. Cost is very important. Thanks.
Thank you very much, sir.
Alright, at this point, because of time, I know that most of our panelists leave now. So therefore, if you have any question for Muna, does anyone have a question for Muna here? Okay, please let's just take that question, and others are going to send their questions to info@yen.org.ng, info@yen.org.ng. And we're also going to talk to, I know that a lot of us will have questions.
Great personality today. Thank you so much, sir. We appreciate you. Thank you very much. Let me see. Also, we'd like to recognize very warmly one of our own, a great mind, an outstanding young personality, an entrepreneur extraordinaire, Mr. Ahmed Ojikutu, the president of Capdan. He sneaked in, or he snuck in while we were talking. Thank you. Welcome, sir. We'd also like to recognize all our NAFDAC representatives here present. Mrs. Wafo N.E. Please can we clap? Thank you very much. We appreciate you. Mr. John E. Bamikole, we thank you so much. And Mrs. Anslem Onowaneli C, we thank you so much for your time. Okay, very quickly, we'd like to have Mrs. Grace Alexander, the CEO of Star Children Initiative and co-founder of Every Woman Matters Summit. She has 5 minutes to share.
Hello, everyone. My regards. I want to especially greet the monarch, His Royal Highness, that is representing the Oni of Ife. So, hello, sir. God bless you. And all other protocols observed. I'm a fierce disability advocate. I'm raising a son with special needs. We live in England, but I come to Nigeria quite often because I'm passionate about people that are the neglected minority, people that are faceless, people that are voiceless. These are people living with disability. So when I saw the advert on the internet, I called Chris. I said, are you actually talking about people that are also living with disability in your event? And he was like, he kept quiet. I said, well, I don't mind to come and speak about these people who are very smart, who are first and foremost human beings, who are not being defined by their disability. Because most often we tend to, or the government or the society tend to ignore these wonderful, amazing people, and I'm a parent to one of them. My last son is 24. And I will tell you that when I start raising my last son, who has disability, my concept of what is normal changed. I realized that everybody is differently able. And as we grow older, you start having some impairments as well. And most of them, especially the fact that you are disabled, doesn't mean you cannot fulfill your potentials. And there is a difference between what we call disability and impairment. You know what is called disability? According to one school of thought, it means lack of cohesion between your impairment and the environment. Without my glasses, I can't read what is here. So I'm disabled. So it's not the impairment that disables me. It's the society that is actually disabling me. So what about our youths that are so smart and they've got a lot of skills? And most of these skills are really untapped. And you start wondering, are they not going to be useful to their society? According to World Health Organization, they said people living with disability are the poorest of the poor. Why? Because they don't have access to jobs. The likelihood that they will be employed is zero. The likelihood that people that have learned a lot of skills will be empowered, will be given training that will enhance his skills and assets as a human being is not there. So that's why I'm being a voice for these amazing young people. I have 4 of them with me, and I will show you what they've done. They are so smart, but they don't even have access to financial services, which is really sad. And it doesn't mean because they are disabled that make them less of a human being. And because they are disabled youths does not mean they are not youths. And because they are disabled does not mean that they are not human beings. So they are also can add to the country's GDP income growth. So that's why we need to, because in Nigeria we have almost about 30 million of people living with disability. So if those people remain poor, then what are we as Nigerians? So it's high time we put them on stage so that they can show their skills. They can show what they can do. And they are able to do a lot of things. There is ability in disability. So one thing is that leaders of the biggest economic strategies about economic development and the inclusion of youth, they don't really talk about youth with disability. Millions of our youths born or living with disability are faced with stark poverty and hunger. That's why you see some people who are adults. That's why they have internalized disability, because no society is able to empower them, engage them, or enable them to be the best they can be, which is really sad. We recognize that youth with disabilities have competencies, creative potentials, assets, and skills that are grossly undervalued and unutilized due to the stigma attached to disability. So currently, people with disability represent the most unemployed and underemployed group within Nigeria's working population. Unemployment rates for youth with disability are higher than the rest of the youth population in every society. While inequalities in education and vocational training resources can negatively impact the employment options available to persons with disability, negative attitudes about disability and discrimination based on disability status may create significant barriers to their long-term unemployment. So the cumulative effect of these assumptions about people living with disability, they think because of the economic challenges that are attached to disability, they think they cannot do anything. So the cumulative effect of this assumption helps to fuel continued marginalization of disabled youth from mainstream society,
further incapacitates their involvement in credible economic pursuits relevant to their skills, which ought to ultimately impact negatively on their psychological and personal growth. So this means if nothing is done by the society, by the government, these people will continue to face stark future of poverty than other youths without disability. So there are opportunities for youths that are not living with disability, rather than opportunities also for youths that are living with disability. So there are facts. There are some facts I want to mention here. People with disability are human beings first and foremost. It is not only a medical condition, but it also hinders full participation and application to their rights. Disability is a social phenomenon, not a personal tragedy. There is ability in disability. So with reasonable adjustments, persons with disability will be able to live their full potentials. If they are given training, if they are being mentored, if they are being coached, they can be able to fulfill their potentials. And I would like to let you know that they are also very smart and savvy. So they have the capacity to add to Nigeria GDP income growth. So in conclusion, now we are in the 21st century. Because a youth behaves in a different way does not mean he does not have capacity if he's given a reasonable adjustment to be able to fulfill their potentials. So you cannot see somebody and start making assumptions what they can do. You'll be amazed that the most creative youths or persons are people living with disability. Can I have a round of applause for that? Thank you very much. So there has to be a paradigm shift that will shape our perspective about our youth with disability, breaking down barriers, pushing their commonalities as youths. So I want to employ the youths here. When you see other youths that are differently able, please appreciate them. Don't assume they cannot do anything. They can do more than what you think you can do. So it's high time we start investing in our youths. Human development for youths who are not living with disability and youths living with disability, they need the same capacity to be able to fulfill their potentials. So it is high time we start investing in our youth with disability, and this will be one of the greatest potentials for business growth and development. If you employ somebody living with disability, I am telling you, they are the most people that will be consistent. They are very loyal. They are very loyal, they are consistent, and they are very creative, they are very innovative. So it is important to know that most of our disabled youths are breaking barriers associated with disability, such as stereotypes, and coming up with creative innovations. I'd like to show you some of the things, because I brought about 4 of them who are young entrepreneurs. And I would like people to invest in them. And these are the things they made. This is made by the young man there. Can you tell them your destination? Made in Nigeria.
I'm a media professional and fashion entrepreneur. So I'm a graduate of University of Ibadan. I study communication languages. My brand name is UTES Global Designer. I'm the CEO of UTES Entertainment. I'm also an MC and TV host.
They've got to bring them. It's let them see them. Yeah, that's the purpose why I'm here. It's always good to see the person behind these products. And because these are people that are voiceless, the neglected minority of our population. My of opportunity is 24. That's my last child. We travel everywhere, and thank God for England for giving him and opened my eyes to see the world in a different way. Okay, these are the women who make it happen. There's another one that came all the way from Osogbo. He made this my prince.
What's your name? My name is Bola Kesha. Hold on. What's your name, please?
Bukola Adenichi. And you made me Valentine's Day. Yes. So if you want to give your loved ones, your wife,
Okay, my name is Adebayo Britala David. Yes, I'm a textile designer. So I make what I wear, and I do duvet, and I do wall decor. Yes, it's inside the bag. I'm visually impaired.
So can you see that we have excellent entrepreneurs? So can you give them another round of applause? Of people that are living with disability that constitutes 1 billion of the global population. 80% are living in developing countries, and that includes Nigeria. Thank you very much.